Yo, what up? This is George here with a new deck profile. This is going to be on Lucemon because I got support from EX10, and it is my favorite deck of the sets. Lucemon's my favorite Digimon, specifically Chaos Mode, not this fucking guy. But I really enjoy this deck. I think it's probably the most fun control style deck I've played in Digimon. And it's still pretty aggressive at the same time. So let's get into the video. Let me know what you guys think and leave a comment if you have any sort of suggestions on what you would play in the deck. First, the egg, which is Cupimon. Cupimon is the EX10 one, specifically, is the best egg to play in the deck. It is the inheritable is really strong, which is when a Lucemon in name moves from the breeding to the battle area. This Digimon, or rather, you can trash a card from your hand to draw a card and get a memory. That's an insanely strong effect because again, it does not care what the Digimon is. It doesn't care if this is under it or not. It will you can just trigger this, and it's an insanely strong effect for just cycling through your deck and getting memory. And also filling your trash. So this is like a much needed card in Lucemon because the biggest problem I had with it was that it passed over too much memory, and it still does, but this makes up for it in the fact that you're cycling through your deck a lot more, and on top of that, you're also recovering a little bit of memory when doing so. So next we have the rookies, which is Lucemon from BT18, or actually EX10 one, the EX6 one, and the BT18 one. In my opinion, these are all fantastic rookies for the deck. They're very strong. They all have a play cost of 10, but they all evo over QP for 5. Let's go over the Searcher one first. It has start of main on play. This Digimon, you search the top 3 cards of your deck and add one with Angel, Archangel, 3 Great Angel, or 7 Great Demon Lord among them to your hand, and then trash the rest. And then it has the end of turn. If you have a level 6, you can put it at the top of your security to evo into Lucemon Chaos Mode from your trash onto this Digimon without paying the cost. So very, very good. This is just a good searcher. But overall, later into the game, not a card you would typically play as much. BT18 Lucemon is much better as an early game Lucemon, in my opinion, and can be really good for playing out of trash if you really need to either chip or recover your opponent from your opponent, which is on play, start of main, similar to this one. You can trash a card to make your opponent trash the top of their security. If they don't, you recover. Really cool, and it has the same end of turn as this one. So again, bounce a level 6 to the top of your security to evo into Lucemon Chaos for free. This EX10 Lucemon is fantastic. This is like one of the best cards in the deck. It has blocker, which is insane already because again, we have so many ways of playing Lucemon from trash that giving something blocker is a really big deal. But it also has a really cool effect of breeding when digivolving. This Digimon moves to the play area, or you can move it to the play area. Fantastic because now we trigger our Cupimon inheritable really, really easily just by evoing into this, even if we pass turn, right? Again, evos for 5, but let's say we had 3 and we had another Digimon with the QP inheritable. We just keep turn with that, which is fantastic. But this thing has a really cool effect of end of turn. You may put 5 Lucemon cards, or rather cards with Lucemon in text to the bottom of your deck to evo into Lucemon Chaos Mode for free. Really, really good. It's just a fantastic card. Its inheritable is also blocker. So again, having a blocker Lucemon is really important, and that was like one of the things that the other deck was or the other variant of this deck was missing, because we had to play shit like Shoto Kazama to give our Lucemon blocker, which was really annoying because Shoto's not naturally in the deck; you can't search it or anything. So really, really good addition, makes the deck a lot more cohesive. Next, Lucemon Chaos Mode, our level 5, arguably the card we'll be seeing the most in terms of what we're evoing into. And this is our ratio: 4 EX6, 3 BT18, 4 EX10. This is my choice of the ratio because I just like these the most. But we're going to go over the EX6 one first. This one has the on play when digivolving. Your opponent may delete a Digimon or Tamer. If they do not, you may trash your top, or you trash the top of their security and you recover. This is very, very good. It's effectively what we call the bribery effect of Lucemon, which is either you delete something or I get to recover and you trash the top of your security. You value what's more important to you right now, but both are very strong, obviously. Um, if your opponent doesn't have anything, they will just trash and you recover. It's really good. And the alterns on this thing is just stupid. Which is if this Digimon were to be removed from the board, you can bottom deck a Lucemon either from its Digivolutions or the trash to play out a 7th grade Demon Lord or a Lucemon Satan mode from your trash without paying the cost. Really, really strong effect. Playing out a Demon Lord with an on play that's really, really strong is obviously really good, and then playing a Satan mode is also very good as well, depending on the Satan mode. So really good card overall. Probably my favorite Lucemon to play. Next, we're going to go over the BT18 one. This one is not as strong as the other one, but still really good. Has the same on play when Digivolving, but its all turns is different, which is if this Digimon were to be removed from the board, you may trash the top of your, or excuse me, the bottom of you. Is it the trashing the top or the bottom? You may trash your bottom security card, and this Digimon doesn't leave. Just protection, which is pretty good. It's effectively barrier, but for everything. But that's relatively it in terms of that. It doesn't really have any sort of board presence outside of its on play when Digivolving. So this is why I only played 3 of them instead of 4. But still really good because we can protect from it. And then finally, EX10 Lucemon, which this one is a much more aggressive, like offensive Lucemon than it is defensively, in my opinion. But it's a really, really good. It doesn't have an on play, but it has a when attacking, when Digivolving that's not once per turn. Which is you may trash a card from your hand, and your opponent may delete a Digimon or Tamer. If they do not, you recover. You don't trash their security, you recover. This Evo's for 5, so it's cheaper to Evo into. And its all turns is when this Digimon would leave the battle area, your opponent, if your opponent does not delete a Digimon, it doesn't leave, basically. So if your opponent tries to like use an option to kill this thing and they have no Digimon, obviously it doesn't leave because it just can't unless they pop 2 things. And then if this thing like collides in battle with something, if this thing gets hit with Retail or something, it's just not going to die unless your opponent deletes another Digimon or Tamer. So very, very strong for just forcing your opponent into a situation. It's also really good because, again, the when attacking, when Digivolving is not once per turn. So you can Evo, if you kept turn, swing, or if you have ways to swing after, which we'll get into later, swing, and then you can either effectively pop 2 things or recover twice, or a mix of the 2. So, really, really strong card. Next, we are going into our level 6s. We're going to go into the Lucemon X Antibody. This card is really fucking good. This kind of puts your opponent in a situation where instead of bribing them, we're just forcing a like countdown on them, effectively. This thing has the Evo cost of 3 over Lucemon Chaos mode. So a little bit more expensive than a normal X antibody, but kind of just Evos over a 5 to a 6 normally, which is 3. But then it has the alterns of when this Digimon were to be removed, if you have a Lucemon under it, so that doesn't mean Chaos mode, just any Lucemon under it, you can trash both players' security, and it doesn't leave. Really good because obviously it's protection. Obviously, it does not matter what Lucemon's under. This doesn't have to be Chaos mode, like I said. It could be Lucemon Rookie. It can be Larva. It doesn't matter. This Evo's even over Lucemon Satan mode because it just Evo's over any Lucemon for 3 that is level 5 or higher. Yeah, and you just trash both players' security and it doesn't leave. This is really good also for the rookie, or the rookies that have the end of your turn, which is you can attempt to bounce this, protect it, and then you just trash their top security for free, basically. And then its end of turn is your opponent may trash their top security. If they don't, you recover and you delete a Digimon or Tamer. So very, very strong because, again, it essentially forces your opponent in a situation where you're on the clock or I'm going to keep deleting your shit. And that's really, really, really annoying for your opponent to deal with. Next is our Demon Lord of choice, even though I guess Lucemon Chaos Mode's a Demon Lord, but our level 6 Demon Lord of choice, which is, I guess, Lucemon X is a 7th grade Demon Lord as well. But whatever, my non-Lucemon Demon Lord of choice is Leviamon. This is the best 7th grade Demon Lord in the game, in my opinion. This card's pretty busted. On play when Digivolving, if you have less than or equal to the Digimon Tamers as your opponent, you may delete their highest level Digimon and then delete their lowest level. This will always delete the lowest level. Doesn't matter how many cards you have compared to your opponent. And then its all turns is when a Digimon is deleted, you gain a memory for each Digimon deleted. So really, really strong for just gaining memory for things dying. It has +1 security, so it checks for 2. It's 13k, evos for 5, but if you're deleting 2 things with it, you're evoing for 3. So really, really good, and obviously this plays out for free with the EX6 Lucemon Chaos Mode. Typically your number 1 target for that card, but sometimes you would also want to go into Satan mode, depending on the scenario. So really, really strong card. Next, we're playing 4 Larva. Larva is not necessarily a Digimon more than it is an option, in my opinion, but it is a Digimon nonetheless. It has the security effect, which is really good, of playing a Lucemon from trash without paying the cost. Fantastic, because this thing effectively can play out a blocker Lucemon. You could play out the one that trash your card. Your opponent either trashes their security or you recover. And if your opponent has no security, don't want to trash, you just recover for free. And then it has a really cool breeding effect of if this card's in your breeding area and a Lucemon Satan mode were to be removed, you can play this out and it doesn't get removed. So it gives Lucemon Satan modes protection, which is really good because the way you put this into the breeding area is through Lucemon Satan mode. So it's like kind of a built-in protection. And then its all turns is when this Digimon, while you have a Digimon that is a non-white Lucemon card, all your Digimon with 0 DP don't get deleted. So this is how it actually sticks onto the board without immediately dying because it doesn't have any DP. Obviously, if there's no other Lucemon on the board except Larva dies. But the cool thing about Larva is that it's a level 6, so a cool combo you can do in Lucemon is if you have the baby Lucemon end of your turn, you can top deck this to, or rather, put this to the top of security to evo into a Lucemon Chaos mode. Really, really good for that because the security effect becomes live, and then yeah, really, really strong combo. Next are level 7s, and we are playing 2 of each Satan mode. In my opinion, this Satan mode's better, so sometimes I wish I had 3 and then played the 1 BT18, but I think 2-2 is still fine as well. This Satan mode's really good because although it doesn't have an on play, its end of all turns effect is fucking bonkers, which is you just trash your opponent's top security, and if it didn't trash, you just pop a Digimon and a Tamer. Fantastic for removal. It can be really clutch if you really need to get rid of like a problematic Tamer on board and your opponent doesn't have security, but you don't have a swing for game yet. Really good if this is the only target in your trash for Lucemon EX6 Satan mode, or Chaos mode, excuse me. Because again, that end of all turns is going to trigger at the end of your turn, so you're just trashing shit. And your opponent has to address this card, or else they don't get to play the game. And then if you evo into this, you're also popping something, because you can put a Larva mode in your breeding area to just pop a Digimon or Tamer. Again, this card is just direct popping. Typically, you're not going to evo into this because it evos for 6. It's quite a bit, especially by the time you get to this card. It's going to be middle into the game. So, yeah. But again, it's still a viable card to bring out with EX6 Chaos mode, in my opinion. And then this one's the better one because it actually has an on play, which is by moving a Larva mode from your empty breeding area, you delete your opponent's highest level Digimon, and then it's when Digivolving when attacking is your opponent may trash their top security. No, what is it? No, they may delete a Digimon, right? Yeah. Your opponent may delete one of their Digimon or Tamers, and if they don't, they trash their top security, and this Digimon unsuspends. Fucking fantastic effects, man. That, like, really, really good. The on play is pretty solid too. Just a really good offensive and defensive card with the EX6 Lucemon on top of that. And that one on play, putting the larva into the security, or rather to the breeding area, is super important for actually getting out larva and having that protection there. And finally, we're going over the options, and there's quite a few. No tamers in this deck, also. Not playing any tamers. So Dead or Alive. Dead or Alive is probably the best option in terms of it getting hit into security, especially into the later part of the game. Its main effect is you may play a level 5 purple Digimon from your trash without paying the cost. So that's Lucemon Chaos Mode. If you have 10 or more cards in your trash, you may play a Lucemon in name without paying the cost instead. So that includes Satan and normal rookie Lucemon. That includes, if you want to, Larva, if you want to, EX or Lucemon X, but typically you're either playing a Lucemon Satan mode or a Lucemon rookie, or you're just playing a Lucemon Chaos mode. So really good, and its security effect is activate the main effect. So a fantastic card, really really good. One of my favorite options when it gets hit, because it's one of the only ways we can actually play, just hard play, a Lucemon Chaos mode. Next, we are playing Paradise Lost at 4. This card is the best option in the deck, period. I don't care what anybody says. This card is broken. Like the most busted card in the deck. You basically can just play this as long as you have a Lucemon out. You don't need the color requirements. A Lucemon in name, rather. And then it's for 2. Give one of your Digimon blocker, piercing, and raid, and 3k DP. Which is insane. Because now you're giving raid, your Lucemon is almost certainly going to be bigger than most other Digimon at that point, especially if it's a Chaos mode. And then you're giving it piercing on top of that, and it has blocker, and obviously you'd be suspending, but its trash effect is actually really good too, which is you can trash the bottom security card to put this to the bottom of your deck, and then your Digimon may attack without suspending. That's Lucemon in name. It's really fucking fantastic card. It's so aggressive. And then the security effect, which I didn't even mention, plays a Lucemon for free. So, insane. Insane card. One of the best cards in the deck. It makes the deck so much more aggressive. So much, like, it gives your deck a really reliable win con, which I had a huge problem with Lucemon before. Because it just did not feel like it had a really cohesive win con, but now it does. So, yeah, Paradise Lost is a must-have at 4. And finally, for our last Lucemon option card, we're playing 7 Divine Cruise. This card is fantastic when it's in the trash and you evo into Lucemon X. But in my opinion, if we're talking about hard playing an option for Lucemon, this is probably the worst one. For 7, you're effectively either just recovering or you're popping maybe one thing. Unless you're at super low security count. Excuse me. This thing is not popping shit, typically. So, the security effect's still really good, though, and the trash effect is really good, which is you may put this in the bottom of the deck, and then your opponent may trash their top security. If they don't, you recover. So, yes. And then its security effect is you just play a baby Lucemon from your trash. A lot of those, because that's, like, really, really strong effects to have overall. And then finally, our true last option is Ganai's House. Ganai's House is really good. It's effectively a Lucemon card, just not in name. I wish it was, but, it's like the only bad thing about it in this deck. But Ganai's House is fantastic because what it does is you can play it as long as you don't have a Ganai's House in your security. You add your bottom security to hand to put this to the bottom. And then while this is face up in security, your Digimon gain 3k DP. And then its security effect is you play a rookie from your trash without paying the cost. It's just effectively the same fucking cards as the Lucemon options and then Larva as well. You're just playing a rookie Lucemon, which really can be super, super fucking strong to either prevent yourself from dying or to get a blocker if you need it. Yeah, Ganai's House is insane. And again, you're getting 3k DP your turn, which means now your baby Lucemons are 13k, your Chaos mode is 16k, your Satan mode is 19, etc. But yeah, that is the deck profile, guys. Let me know what y'all think. I think Lucemon is pretty fun and pretty good. So if you guys enjoyed this deck profile, again, give me a thumbs up. Let me know what you guys think. If you have any other builds in mind for Lucemon or any other cards you would suggest. I know like that one gospel card is not in this deck profile. I personally think it's a little clunky in this deck, so I don't play it personally. But yeah, let me know what you guys think, and thank you guys for watching. You take care and have a great rest of your day.